Everyone. Hopefully that's working all right. Looks that way. How's life? I'm not starting on that one. The more than one of you fuckers sent me the story about the burly police woman in the West Midlands. Is your clock fast? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's only 1 minute past 12 here. Alright. It's not 5 minutes before. I'm a civvy. If I come 5 minutes before, I'll be sat here only talking to Bootneck, won't I? What about Adolf elected? There's a story I haven't seen. What's that one? I'll tell you what, I'll Google it. Adolf elected. You're just getting the real one. I'm just getting Hitler there. You need to give me some more details if you want me to cover that one. It should have started. Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm on, I think. So, what a weekend, eh? The proves us right. The most baffling thing about all this is that, like I said, everyone has been saying it for months. Like, every time I turned on, like, talk radio or talk sport or something like that, every time I put it on, you had people saying, the second fans go back in the ground, all this BLM shit's gonna stop. That's all people talked about for 6 months. And then they let 2,000 fans in and loads of them boo. And it's been the top story for the weekend. Like, I don't understand it. Can you turn your volume up, Richard? We're using the little fucking microphone on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Because I told you, I'm working very hard to try and get that nice mixture between Matty and leaf blower. And if I put my volume up on my end too high, you just get leaf blower. So I'll crack on, and if a few more people whinge about the volume, I'll put the volume up a little bit. But it really is, it's a constant battle, because it sounds all right now. Like, I wear the headphones, and you can sort of get the headphones. You get the background noise, and I'm not hearing leaf blowers. If I put the fucking volume up max on the mic, when I'm talking, I can just hear, or, you know, cállate. Like, that's how it is when you live in a city in California. So, okay, Adolf Hitler elected as mayor in city in Namibia. That's funny. It's funny that the name didn't go out of fashion. That reminds me, you know, I did read about the Italians doing, they were paying people to use the name Benito because no one calls the son Benito ever since Mussolini. Which is sort of sad, isn't it? Because Benito, it seems, if it's the Italian version of Benjamin or Ben, like, that's quite a nice name. Adolf I'm less keen on, but I think Benito going the way of the dodo is quite sad. I don't really think one bad person should fuck the name forever. You know, it's like in America, no one calls the son Benedict because of Benedict Arnold. Yeah, again, seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? Even, I suppose, Adolf. But who the fuck's going to call the son Adolf in this day and age? Any Moiras? Yeah, you know what? I don't think there's been many Moiras, has there? And there's definitely not been any more Gary Glitters. Yeah, well, you know, you've got to use both, haven't you? Gary's still getting used. Jimmy. People still use Jimmy. Weird, isn't it? I guess you have to become really, really, really infamous for your name to be soured forever. Like, you know, Harold Shipman's famous, but we still call kids Harold. Or Ian Huntley's famous, still called Ian. Peter Sutcliffe, there's no concerns about Peter. I guess you have to be a full-blown, you know, genocide. Like, maybe it's true, you know, what Stalin's proven to be right. Hey, Nick, all right. Stalin has proven to be right, hasn't he, with his famous mantra about kill one person, it's a tragedy, kill 3 million, it's a statistic. Because, like, it has been proved that, hasn't it, by what's gone on with the BLM movement. See, Teresa, that might be true, but the other thing is it's your age. All right, it's a very quiet. I'll fucking put it up a little bit. The other thing with that, though, is your generation, isn't it? Because different generations have different names, and Fred and Hilda and Maureen and all that. Like, basically, I just reeled off my grandparents' names there. My grandparents was like Fred, Maureen, Hilda and Brian. Only one of them still in use. So I think that's just down to, you know, cultural changes. No one calls the fucking kids Fred. But yeah, it's weird how Adolf went the way of the dodo then, isn't it? And Benito. Why did Benito get fucked and Joseph didn't? I wonder if there's any Maos. There must be. What was his first name? There's some embarrassing history I don't know. Chairman Mao, what was his proper name? Let me look that up. Oh, yeah, Mao Zedong. I did those. It was his first name. So, yeah, Mao. There must still be some Maos, is there? Trevor. That's a good one. But, yeah, Fred. Fred, Hilda and Maureen. Nobody gets called fucking Maureen. It is a true story, actually, if we're going to talk about old people's names for a bit. Winston. I remember the funny as one on... Only Fools and Horses. He was called the Shadow, as he was like the shoplifter, and he meets Del Boy in the supermarket that he's robbing, and he says, "Oh, I can't go back now." And Del Boy's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, he recognises him, and he's like, "It's little Lennox." He remembers him, Lennox, and then he's like, "I used to sell your mum shoes down the fucking market." And when Lennox is saying like the Shadow, he says, "Oh, I can't give up. The police, you know, they don't know I am and that." And he says, "Oh yeah, well, 5 minutes ago there were the mysterious Shadow, you know, the dastardly criminal no one's heard of." He says, "Now we know your first name, your last name and your mum's shoe size." So I think there was a Winston on Only Fools and Horses. True story about old people's names. When my Nana Hilda was in the home, because she got me mega old, fell down the stairs, she ended up in a home because she couldn't look after herself. And I went to see her one time. And I goes in there, I'm having a chat with her. And an old woman pops up behind me, because it was full of people who've lost the marbles a little bit. Obviously, it was an old people's home. And there's an old woman stood on my shoulder, and she goes, "How you doing, son?" And I was like, "All right, love, how are you doing?" And she went, "What's your name?" And I said, "Matthew." And she said, and I said, "What's yours?" And she goes, "Guess." And I was like, "Can you show me you don't have a large backdrop behind you?" It's always the same. I can throw my headphones over on there, look. Oh no, they're on the deck now. It's not a backdrop. It's just tidy, because I'm a bootneck and we vacuum and don't like too much clutter. I'm not a man who likes ornaments and shit. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so this old woman says to me, "Guess," when she wants me to guess her name. And purely because I was there seeing my Nana Hilda, I picked the other Nana's name, because my other Nana's called Maureen. And I said to her, "Maureen," and she went, "That's right," and fucked off. And I just assumed she was insane. And I was like, haha, she was a bit dotty. And my Nana was like, "Ah, yeah, who knows what's going on with her." And then when the nurse come in, she went, "Who's that who just walked out?" I said, "Oh, I was just talking to her." I said, "She's a bit mad." She come in and asked me if I could guess her name. And she went, "Oh, Maureen." And I went, fucking hell, I was right. Like, I nailed it. It really was Maureen. So it was like, in that old people's home, there were just, yeah, the Ethel, Hilda, Maureen. Every fucker had a stereotypical old woman's name. I've joked about that before, though, you know, with the world we're living in now, where everyone's a sad bastard and they all, like, copy these unoriginal fucking computer games and novels and TV shows and that for all of the names. Like, no one just calls the kid John anymore. I guarantee, if you want your kid to stand out, call him fucking Dave. Because there's going to be more than one area when you go to school now, I'm telling you. If you call your fucking kid Sansa or Tyrion, right, like a total fuckwit, when that kid gets to school, there's going to be about 30 fucking Sansas, and they're just going to sound like a knobhead. Mohammed, that's a good one, yeah. And you know what the statistic about that one is? People say, oh yeah, it's the far right lie, and it's not a common name in England. You know when the right wingers like Farage says, oh, Mohammed's the most common name in Britain, and they say, no, actually, technically it's not, and they come out with all this shit about how it's a lie. It's if they spell it differently, right? There's a statistic you might not know. It's only if they spell it differently is it number 5. If you take in the fucking 5 different ways they spell it, it's number 1 by a factor of fucking 5. Like, it's at the top by far. I think Jack is second, but if you take up the different spellings of Mighty Momo, that fucker's top by a factor of 5. Also, why do they always call the kids that name? It's not like Jesus is a popular one. It's like, I don't understand the fascination with calling you after a prophet. Like, it's, although I suppose we do still like Joseph. But it's a bit weird how they all just call the same name. Yeah. I remember doing that as well, you know, when I was only in primary school. It's a good memory I have of me nana. And I think I was about 7 or 8, and I was just winding her up because she was quite religious, me nana. And I said, Nana, there's a Pakistani lad in our class, he's foreign, and he's called Jesus, like just taking the piss. And me nana went, they can't do that. like she was going to send the Stasi round, like you're not allowed to use that. You're not allowed to use that name. It's against the rules. So, oh yeah, Jesus, isn't it? Jesus. That's pretty common, I think. But they're Catholics, aren't they? Mexicans are all Catholic, which is a weird thing. Right, anyway, I always talk shit for 20 minutes responding to the chat. Let's do some proper news. What was I going to talk about? Yeah, so I just got this. I watched a video about this on BitChute that I quite enjoyed. And it was like a sort of compilation of all of the best chants from Antifa. And I was basically looking for like BLM sort of propaganda, you know. And there's some mad shit the BLM guys have been chanting. Like, you might not have seen the video, right? Because I obviously wanted to talk about BLM in response to the fucking bullshit story that they just put out there about Black Lives Matter. And there's one of them all in a big line literally chanting about the coppers, pigs in blankets, fry 'em like bacon. Like, I don't know if you don't count that as explicitly calling for violence, but it's pretty up there, isn't it? Shouting pigs in blankets, fry 'em like bacon is pretty bad. It's not like they're there chanting like just peaceable things like everyone should be treated fairly. That's not the type of shit you see when you fucking when you see Black Lives Matter in action. It's never just merely somewhat. See, I can hear the leaf blowers now. That's you fuckers making me put the volume up. Get better speakers. Boot hacked through Sargon's paywall already. No, I haven't. I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not as into him as I should be, right? I'm not into him enough to give him money. Sargon's a bit too... he's just been too... For me, he's a bit too nice. Like, because he's obviously always had a monetized channel and I haven't because I don't do this for money. I just feel like he does worry too much about the fucking powers that be. So I think he's a bit milquetoast for my liking. And he never swears. And, you know, I like comical, foul language. Good stuff like that. So, no, I like him, but not enough to pay for it. I did start a thought about the policewoman in the West Midlands. I want to do that after I talk about BLM. Because that's fucking quality. Some of the photos I've seen, it's like, oh. If that lady got a grip of you, you'd shit yourself. She definitely looks like she could punch fuck out of 9 out of 10 of the male coppers I've seen. Yeah, but he must still be putting his makeup on. What does that mean? I'm sat right here. where was I going with it? All right, so let's get back to it. Black Lives Matter, fuck's sake. So this guy, it was written up by The Guardian as if it's like the fucking worst thing ever, this. The Guardian said, Minister fails to condemn Millwall fans who booed. Fails to condemn them. Like, as if they've, like the Millwall fans were, like, exposing themselves or something. Like, he turned around, there was 100 blokes with the cocks out, and he went, well, each to their own. That's not what happened. It's sort of staggering that they've written it up this way. Fails to condemn. Listen, this is an explicitly political movement. Explicitly political. And the reason people are booing is because they like to keep politics out of entertainment. We don't want to get fucking lectured to every single time we do anything. Anything now, it's like, you want to watch a film, fucking lecture. You want to watch sport, lecture. Want to go for a pint in the pub, lecture. Lecture, lecture, lecture. Don't fucking lecture me when I'm just trying to enjoy my life. Like, they seriously do my head in, these fucking twats. Let it go. Let it go. It wasn't like this for fucking the last 100 years. Was it? You could at least enjoy your entertainment. This is another reason why I feel so bad for all the fucking kids, like, because they don't get left alone. Like, seriously, I was so happy when I was a young lad going to, like, elementary school. I don't think that I knew anything about politics until I was about 12. Like, it seriously started late. Like, I was just an happy kid who spent all my time trying to entertain myself. All I thought about when I was 8 was fucking, like, computer games and skateboards and fucking He-Man. I wasn't constantly worrying about, like, this shit. But nowadays, they refuse to allow you to enjoy yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? A 7-year-old should just go to the football with his dad and enjoy the football. And when you force politics, ram it down everybody's throat all the time, the poor little bastards have to take this up early, don't they? They have to take it on up at a very young age. And it really does fucking piss me off. Leave them alone. Let them enjoy their life. Like, you know, I was talking about with Brexit, like old people, they do these things because they think they're doing the kids a favour. You're failing them if you force them to become political at a young age. They're little bastards. Just let them have some fun while they're young. Before everything's shit when you get into your teens and your 20s, it's shit then. Then you've got to take an interest in all this bollocks. Then you've got to get involved in the real world. Let them enjoy the childhood instead of ramming this shite all over them. Millwall are known for trouble. Yeah, Millwall are. But so what? Like, you might be right. Because I can't see any clubs, yeah, except maybe Liverpool. If I had to pick one team where I think the commies have got, like, them by the throat, it's Liverpool, isn't it? Liverpool is, like, the most outright political football team. Because it's fucking Scousers, right? Why always us? Why always me? Whinge, whinge, whinge. Fucking Scousers. So that's why Liverpool are explicitly political. They never shut up about it. So you knew that Liverpool would politicise it. But every other team, their fans are going to do the same. So you might be right, that's why Millwall started it. Seriously, right, this is pissing me off today. I might actually rap on the stream. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Like I told you, it's unbelievable because they don't fucking rake them up and put them in a bag. They blow them to one side of the fucking street and then they come up tomorrow and blow them back across. It's like leaf blower warfare. Nobody will ever win. It's like World War II via leaf blower. An unending war of attrition. Leaves go left, leaves go right. For fuck's sake. We need air power in. Get some A10s in to strafe the fucking street. Okay, it's got better now. But yeah, most teams will not support BLM. Most teams will be like, fuck this, not doing it. Are they? To be honest, I don't know. I haven't had a good look. But yeah, seriously, Middlesbrough, Newcastle, Sunderland, Hartlepool, all the teams in the North East, I know for a fact, like, because I still stay in touch with all my friends back home. They'll be booing the cunts, loads of them, probably about half of them. There's no way that BLM's, they have not got popular support. They might think it's just a small thing now. They're going to try and paint it as like, oh, it's just Millwall being racist. It's just Millwall doing this. It's going to be everyone. Maybe Liverpool get away with it. Yeah, because, again, loads of them are Irish. Loads of, like, Celtic fans live there as well. They started that whole fucking Scouse, not English fucking shit. If there's backwoods, barely literate communists, but not clever enough to realise the communists, is a significant minority of Liverpool fans. Because, again, you know me, I'm not a collectivist. I'm not having to go at all fucking Liverpool fans. And I know fucking several that are sound. But if I have to pick a team which has the largest decent-sized minority of really badly sort of LARPing communists, it's Liverpool, right? It's one of them things. I actually quite like the team as a team. If I want to see a team win the Premier League outside of Middlesbrough, which will never ever happen, it's Liverpool because, you know, the northern. I'm a big believer in the north-south divide. It's like the further north they are, the more I want them to win. I'm not one of these Borough fans with a chip on my shoulder against the Geordies or the Mackhams or even Leeds. I like to see anyone northern win. So I don't have an issue with Liverpool, but there's a few thousand fucking plaggy communists who worship Liverpool. Weird city, and the Labour through and through aren't the Liverpool. So maybe them, but everybody else is going to boo them. So you might be right, whoever said that. It might be they've used Millwall again, because everything's political now. They're all clever and they think of all this stuff. Yes, I am the North FC stereotype. They've probably done it on purpose. Millwall have got a bad reputation. They've thought we'll sell it as Millwall being racist because they don't want to acknowledge that literally tens of millions of people in Britain, the vast majority, I'd say something like, of those who are educated enough to read a few long newspapers and know what BLM are all about, 75% of the country are explicitly against them. Explicitly against them, right? We're not communists. We get offended at them trying to pull down statues. Churchill statues getting pulled down is the purview of Black Lives Matter. That was them. They were there spraying Black Lives Matter, Churchill the racist, pull the fucking statues down. Well, it's rumoured they're going to do that. Like I said, communists don't let you have any choice. If you don't think they're going to attempt to force you into this, you're wrong. Like, they are going to seriously force them into it. It's going to be, if you don't fucking shut up, we're going to, like, walk off the pitch. Well, let them then. Hazy, oh, I've got someone who disagrees finally. Whining freaks, boo-hoo, they're kneeling. No. Now this, Hazy, you can surely grasp this, mate, right? The reason I named the fucking the feed the way that I did is because the system works fine if we just do it the way I do it, right? Yeah? They can kneel, perfectly fine for them to kneel, and we can boo the fuckers for it, right? Is that not just acceptable? BLM forever? You sad cowards. Not a coward, doing it in... I'm fucking making a video right here for the whole world to see. Not a coward. I'm telling you. They can kneel as long as they want, and we can boo as loudly and as long as we like. Is that not fair? Is that not a... You don't think that's a reasonable, tolerant, liberal solution to this problem? Because I do. They're talking about like, oh yeah, no, we have to vet the fans. It's like, vet the fans? Yeah, there we go. Well, we're in accord, totally. But what I'm saying to you, mate, is if you read into this, they're not saying you can boo all you want, which means I'll now go onto Twitter and we'll have a look at some of the stories I've read about it. I've had enough of Mao. Let's forget about him. Because some of these are shocking. We failed you. No, that's not. We're not talking about BLM. I think he's on about Pogba there at Man U, who is fucking overrated to a frankly staggering degree. Let me find a good one that I was looking at earlier. Because, sadly, mate, that democracy you're talking about, that's not happening. Harry Kane, he's overrated as well, boys. He's overrated. He's merely a decent player. He's not a fucking great one. But yeah, regarding the BLM thing, right? It's not going to stop there. This is what I'm getting at. It's not racist. First of all, you can't co-opt the word triggered, because the reason triggered is a thing is because students in America started demanding that they had safe spaces and they would disinvite speakers. So watching the far left try and, to use their own terminology, appropriate the word triggered is laughable, right? You don't get to call right-wing people triggered. You can say they're angry or they're pissed off or they're whatever, aggressive, whiny, but not triggered. That's a very specific thing. We don't get triggered. We argue the toss. I'm not triggered. I like an argument. Trigger warning is you're telling them, listen, we're going to talk about something that might upset you, so you should leave. I'm not triggered. I don't need to be in a safe space. I don't need to go anywhere. I certainly don't need a trigger warning, right? You don't need to tell me, by the way, mate, I'm going to say a sentence that you might not like, because it doesn't bother me. Say the sentences and let's have the argument. So, whatever. It's sort of laughable. But the point I'm getting at is, they're not happy with both sides of the argument. And they're now going to attempt to install rules whereby you have to do as they tell you, or they're even going to start to vet the fans and ban them. Regarding this story where George Eustace basically said, even George Luke Eustace, if you read the fucking story, George Eustace didn't say anything wrong. Register for free, I'm not doing that, I must have clicked it a few too many times. He didn't say anything even remotely. You wouldn't even say it was right of centre. George Eustace said, listen, of course we're all against racism. Of course we support the Kick It Out campaign. Nobody complained about that. But this one here is a specifically, overtly, aggressively political movement with political aims, with political leaders, with a list of demands. You can't tell people that it's not political. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like telling someone a pint of Guinness isn't black. It is. It is a political movement. You can't just turn up and say, oh yeah, well, it's not really political, so just do as you're told. It's political. It's explicitly political. George Eustace didn't say anything wrong. And you can't call these same people. I mean, seriously, right? I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's Google Millwall. Team photo 2018. That'll do. Right, there we are. That team we're looking at there. Oh, look, it's gone to another video. That team we're looking at there doesn't look particularly mono-ethnic to me. This is Millwall 2017. All of those smiling people in that team look very, very diverse to me. So if you think Millwall FC are a racist bunch of fans, you don't know what you're talking about. You're living in an alternative reality. Millwall are not racist. Look at their team. If they don't like people for something as trivial as what colour they happen to be, why don't they boo them every single game? Why not? That's not, right? That's not a bunch of pasty gingers, yeah? 11 pasty gingers and a Norwegian on the bench. That is Millwall, a multi-ethnic team with multi-ethnic fans who boo because they don't like communists. Because communists hate Anglo culture. They hate, it started in America, but it's a global movement. They hate the Anglo, they hate the working class Protestant work ethic. They hate the Union Jack. They hate all of our heroes. They hate Winston Churchill, Isaac Newton, every fucker you can think of. They put them down. They smash shit up. They wreck statues. They riot. They wreck cities. They're fucking arseholes. And what I'm telling you is, well, two things. First of all, you can't call people that whinge about that racists because it's nothing to do with the colour of the people involved. And second of all, you definitely can't call Millwall fans racists when they've spent the last 10 years cheering for a side that looks like that. That looks like that. If it was Ginger FC and they had a specific ban against anyone who wasn't a ginner, then you might be able to call them a racist team. Blackburn Rovers was quite a racist team. Remember, I've talked football. I know a lot about football. Just don't talk about it very often. Let me look at them. Just out of, I'm pretty certain they didn't have a single black player in the team when they won the league. If we go for Blackburn Rovers, Premier League winning team. I don't think they had any. Because I can name the whole team, and I don't think there was. Yeah, there we go. Look. There we go. Now, if the team was, if the team looked like that, maybe I could agree with you. But they don't. The team doesn't look like that. So, not happening. Jossie's Giants. Anyway, right. So I've made the point. It's retarded. Oh no, even that. They get in trouble. Oh, there's the SAS, look. Shearer and Sutton. Class. Those boys knew what they were doing. Yeah, it was Blackburn Rovers. Quality. So I think I've made a solid argument there. Don't tell me those guys are racist. They take those players to the heart. They love them. They fucking love them. The Millwall fans love the team, like all football fans do. If one of those guys who happens to have a bit of a tan comes walking out the stadium, all the lads are patting him on the back. When he scores, they cheer him up to the rafters. So, right, let's talk about the policewoman. I have put it off long enough. I'm kidding, I'm not putting it off, but it's something I feel I have to address because it's funny. So, unfortunately, the best photos are on the Daily Mail website, which means I'm going to have to go through the fucking world's allocation of adverts. For some reason, the Daily Mail's just like, it's like walking around Walmart using your eyeballs. Tim Flowers, he was a hell of a keeper, man. Hell of a keeper. Just remember him letting in a really shit one against like Newcastle, where he just scooped into the ball on his own when it was rolling. Do you remember? Someone had a shot from the halfway line, it was rolling across the grass, and then he kneeled down to pick it up and it went whip and like hit a little fucking hit a little divot and bounced over his head. Hazy, yes, the Daily Mail definitely is right wing. I'm happy to meet you for. Although they're not really far right anymore, either. The Daily Mail sort of just pick stories. This is the point I've always said to people about like propaganda. Any mainstream publication, you have to concede they don't just fully make shit up, do they? Like what all they do is they lie by omission. The BBC, they don't. They don't fully invent stories. They just only tell you one side of every argument. And if something makes their argument look bad, they don't tell you it. They just fucking hide it. But that's not the same as fully making shit up. And I have to point this out to people like AZ. I do always tell them that, like, yeah, the Daily Mail's right of centre. But again, they don't fully make stuff up, do they? Like, if the Daily Mail writes a story like, kill the white slag. Do you remember that one when that gang of drunk Somalian women like knocked the shine out of some bird? And the Daily Mail loved it because it was like making the Somalian community look bad. And again, not a collectivist. I don't think all the Somalian community is bad. The Daily Mail loved that because there was an incident involving the right wing sort of, you know, the team they want to make look bad. So they reported that all over the place. But but they don't make it up. So when people say, "Oh yeah, but it's in the Daily Mail," well, I always think, well, so what? Like, I don't know. My point is, I don't understand why saying it's in the Daily Mail constitutes an argument, because it would be like saying it's on the BBC or it's in the Guardian. Like, it's in the Guardian isn't an argument, is it? Because they don't just invent things from nowhere. What you have to say is they're only telling you one side of the story, or they're only giving you certain facts and ignoring some other ones. But it's not a fucking argument, is it, to just say, oh, well, it's the Daily Mail. Because they don't just invent things. If they found a story and they tell you these 3 Somalians knocked the shite out of some fat bird in Newcastle, that actually happened. They didn't just invent it. So, not really an argument. But let's start on the story, because it's pretty good. So, Sky Morden came out as transgender after splitting with her wife. Remember, we don't want to misgender anyone. Joined West Midlands Police in 2001, now helps transgender officers. The 44-year-old who wears a blonde wig to work and has had makeup lessons. Weird how she needed lessons. I don't think you need lessons. And there she is. Right. I'm not having a go at the cunt. Again, I'm a big believer in do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. But this is where it starts to get really weird, right? Is, of course you can do whatever you want. But the real problem I have with this, which is why I've started, as a liberal fella, I've started talking out about this stuff, is because, again, we live in a society that is on a balance, right? It needs to be balanced. And I've told you, the reason I've started sort of switching over to the right over the years is because we're currently out of kilter. And when one side gets too much power, everything starts to go tits up. And ever since they sort of started this long march through the institutions, it's an overused phrase, but it is a thing. They really did take over the cultural centres, didn't they? They didn't take over the elected officials, but they took over the things that really matter. And it's not 10 Downing Street. It's, yeah, well, we'll see. My like all logical people, Nordic Nightmare, my opinions will continue to evolve as I learn every day. I'll never become an ideologue, and I will always be interested in both sides of the story, as I refuse to be lied to. But they did win. They basically marched through the newspapers, the TV studios, the fucking educational institutes, the civil service. If you go through those 4 things, those 4 important pillars of any civilized society, you don't need to have 10 Downing Street. You run the narrative. And the far left, further left than any of our elected officials, almost any of them, the people that run these things, they are left of like fucking Keir Starmer. Like you've got, although Keir Starmer's pretty left wing, but he lies, doesn't he? But the point is, you've got people who are a little bit crazy, because if you go too far either way, you get into the crazy town. And you've got pretty crazy people running the TV networks, Channel 4, Sky News, the BBC. Is anyone going to argue with me that those 3 big institutions aren't biased? Critically, aggressively biased. They don't even hide it. So if you've got Channel 4 and the BBC and the Sky and the Guardian and the fucking everything, the Independent, they've got everything. And they've got the civil service, which is why they don't want to let Brexit happen, and they've done nothing but obfuscate for 5 fucking years. Like, they've got all the power. So if you're a centrist, you seriously need to be bolstering the right at this point. If you're a centrist, centre-right, centre-left even, you need to be bolstering the right. Some lefties, people like Brendan O'Neill, they've got the integrity and they are doing it. Brendan O'Neill is bolstering the right at this point, and he's a lefty. But he's doing it because he sees the switch of power that's took place. It is essential for a functioning country, a society to thrive, is that you keep the balance and you keep having the debate. And what pushed the Islamic world back into an abyss they've never recovered from was falling into that trap. You know, if you learn the history, the far right, like sort of neo-Nazi types, are wrong because just like the far left, they don't know anything about antiquity, don't know any history. They don't know that, yes, for hundreds of years, the Islamic world was a pioneer in many ways. Those people They were the ones who preserved the knowledge of the Greeks, right? It made its way through Arabia. The fucking books were preserved by them while we were in the middle of the fucking Christian Dark Ages, right? The Islamic world wasn't always as we see it. That's why there's lots of cool things with al in front of it, right? Alcohol and algebra. They had something akin to a decent scientific fucking movement there, and it slipped into the abyss when the theocrats took over, because the theocrats said, you're not allowed to investigate things we tell you you're not allowed to investigate. You're not allowed to talk about things that we tell you you're not allowed to investigate. You're not allowed to think about fucking things. That is a historical fact, if there's any lefties still on. And I'm not far right or right fucking wing. I'm a centrist who will refuse to be dictated to by ideologues from either side. You have to keep your eyes open and keep doing your reading and keep doing your research and make your own fucking mind up. To borrow a line from Monty Python, you don't need me to tell you anything. You need to make your own fucking mind up. And I'm telling you, you need to have the argument. You need to have every debate and every argument you can. That's how you keep your society functioning. Again, I'm parroting cleverer people than me. It's not me who's coming up with this stuff. Parroting cleverer people than me. Guys, again, who are way right of me, like Peter Hitchens, who I disagree with on all kinds of things. I've never fucking agreed with Peter Hitchens on anything. I've never agreed with him on ganja and that. He doesn't want to legalise because he's an actual conservative. Don't agree with him on his cannabis crack. Don't agree with him banning prostitution. Don't agree with banning euthanasia. Don't agree with fucking... There's loads of things I don't side with the Conservatives on. But at least they will have the discussion. At least they'll have the debate. You need to encourage that. You need to encourage it. The worst of all, the most egregious thing in the last 3 years that turned me against the left, of which I would have considered myself one for so long, was the universities. Like, seriously, banning really well-known... Julie Bindel and, like, really famous feminists are getting banned from fucking universities. Like, really famous feminists. When they're starting to say people like Germaine Greer are not allowed to come to Oxford and Cambridge because they're problematic. The world's gone mad. And if you can't see that, Hazy, I don't know what to fucking tell you. If Germaine Greer is getting banned because she's problematic, the world's gone crazy. People like her should be allowed to talk. She's respected, she's a writer, she's a thinker. If you don't think she can talk, you are the problem. Silencing people causes problems. You might not think it does in the short term, but it does. If you shut people up, you're causing a problem down the road. That's how you fall into the fucking abyss. So, anyway, I went off on another tangent there. It's ridiculous. And this type of shit is what I'm talking about. That's why I'm covering this story about the fucking Popeye-looking policewoman. Because the railroad people into making them join in now is my point, right? I support Sky going to pull people over with a wig on and some nice lippy and forearms like fucking Garth, right? I support that. Because Sky should be allowed to do whatever she likes in this free fucking world of ours. But don't tell me that you can somehow police people from occasionally taking the piss out of her, right? You're never going to stop drunks if she's out on patrol on a Friday night, right? Seriously. And they're there dealing with a load of pissheads. Look, fucking hell. If she rocks up outside a boozer at 11:30 and goes, hello, 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 lads are going to have a bit of crack with her. 90% of it is going to be crack, which is another thing why I don't like the left now, is the lack of humour. 90% of it's going to be crack, because most people aren't mean. Not really. Most people aren't horrible. But Sky will have to put up with a few quips. And the left are trying to get to the point where quips are banned. You can't make a quip. You're going to get drunks going, hey up, like taking the piss out of her. And what she should do, if she's not a fucking idiot, is chuckle and walk off. I wish you wouldn't call her a sheep pagan Zaro. Sorry, man. But like I said, I agree with the principle that you can have a crack with anyone, you can insult anyone, and you can call people what they want. Like, If I told you my name was Matt and you insisted on calling me Dave, I'd keep telling you, like, what the fuck you doing? It's not my name. So I don't give a fuck about calling people what they want to be called. I don't think that's a big issue. Where it becomes an issue is where, again, your desire to live in a certain way affects my rights, right? And this is what I've been talking about, why I've got no time for them. But basically, making jokes illegal. They've made jokes illegal. They've made piss-taking illegal. They've made banter illegal. And banter's fucking why we live. There we go, look. Nice sexy pose there. Cracking pair of threepenny bits. Yeah, it's whatever. Do what you want. Do what you want. Sky can do whatever she likes. But don't tell me that I'm not allowed to take the piss a little bit. Right? Normal crack. The drunks are allowed to have a bit of banter with Sky, and if Sky's got any fucking thing about her, and again, this is why you shouldn't have a go at these people, maybe the fuckers sound as fuck. Like, if you go for a pint and you bump into the cunt, he, she, whatever you want to call it, might be a fucking alright crack. Like, it doesn't say that much about you. Lots of people are a bit weird, and lots of people have little quirky problems. We all have. Yeah, you do have the right to say that, Lee. I fully agree with this, but that's what I'm saying. Everyone has the right to do it. I personally don't have an issue with calling people whatever they want me to fucking call them. But I'd probably have a bit of crack with her as well. Or him, again, whatever. It's fine. It's bants that I'm against. Banning of bants. And Sky's got to accept the fact that drunks will take the piss a little bit. Don't start telling me, oh yeah, if someone misgenders you, they've fucking got to go to the big house. Like, it's the daftest fucking thing. It's the daftest thing. Just leave people have a bit of bants. I mean, that's how... Seriously, have you ever, like, sort of done something embarrassing, like fell over in front of someone? Or, like... If people embarrass you, the best way to deal with it is to laugh it off. Because if you get really, really angry, people think less of you. The best way to deal with people being a bit of a knobhead is to laugh it off, make a joke of it. And that's what they need to get used to. If you are trans... I support your right to live your life unmolested. Like I keep saying, nobody should ever be, like, genuinely assaulted or beaten up or afraid of getting beaten up or mistreated. Everyone should be treated with respect. But you can't tell me that you're going to start criminalising banter. Like, fuck me. If I was Sky, I would expect a bit of crack. And I've even, like I said, when you're a normal working class person and you go to boozers, you meet fucking normal people who do this fucking shit. I went fishing in Whitby with my dad, and there was a fucking trans bloke on the fucking fishing boat, and there was a bit of banter, and the fucker just laughed and chuckled about it. It's one of them things. Working class people, especially men, but women as well, bond by taking the piss out of each other. And that's the way of it. So don't start telling me. Again, shit like Count Dankula getting fucking banned. Yeah, I don't mind it. That's why you're still here, you silly bastard. Like, if you bothered me, I'd have booted you. That's how it works. You can do that on YouTube. You should never be criminalised for bants. Count Dankula was another one that pushed me further into the side of the right, where you have to say, you know what, these are the people that need defending, because they haven't got the bit between the teeth. The left have got the bit between the teeth, and their fucking ideology will pull everything down. It's already affected the rule of law. People have started to get pissed off with the authorities. Like, you should raise your kids to respect the police. People aren't now because they've had enough, haven't they? And like I said, I was going to do a bit about BLM, but we all know, don't we? It's not a fucking secret. It's not a secret, BLM's beliefs, leadership, political ideology, violence, everything. It's not a secret. How are you? I am fucking marvellous, DJ. Thanks very much for asking. None of this stuff's a secret. Everybody knows. I don't think they are playing the 3D chess game. I think that, to be honest, the leadership of every fucking aspect of our political spectrum is clueless. I think we're living in an era where everybody's got a bit lazy. Everyone just wants to fucking, watch Netflix and wank themselves silly. And to be honest, I don't think the competency is there with any of our current fucking political class. I don't even believe it with the ones beloved of the right. I don't think Farage is. I just don't. I mean, I like him better than a lot of them, but I do not trust these people. I think that we're sorely served by our political leaders, and I don't know where we're going to go from here. I suppose I can end on that, Boris and fucking Brexit. He's definitely going to sell yous out, right? Because I'm still over here, so I'll say you. He's definitely going to sell yous out on Brexit. There is no fucking way. There is no way Boris isn't going to blink. Boris does not have the bottle to do a world trade order. That's my prediction, and I'll stand by that. We'll see what happens, see if I'm wrong. I don't believe for a second that Boris Johnson won't fucking blink. He'll end up signing a deal that is a shit deal, and it won't please anyone. Because he's going to bend too far. He's going to give them some sort of deal on fishing, and again, and even that, milk toast cunt that I am, I'm more than happy to give the EU a bit more than we should have done in the spirit of friendship and mutual cooperation. But it's going to go too far. Like, it's going to be like, you don't agree to this shit unless you've lost a war, right? Just giving them, throwing money at them. He might sign us up for the European Court of Human Rights, which we've all been against for so long, the Criminal Charter. Cheers, Davey, see you around. He's definitely going to sign up for... He'll give them some access to fishing rights. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's going to do it. He's going to do it. And it's all up in the air from there. I refuse to believe he's got the bottle to do a world WTO Brexit. Even though the public have got the fucking metal. The general public seem to have said, you know what? Fuck it. It might be hard. We might have to tighten our belts for a little bit. Economy might fucking go tits up for a bit, but we need to do what people have told us. We need to do as we're told. They didn't ask us if it was going to be easy. They didn't say, do you want to leave the European Union as long as it's really easy? They asked the fucking general public, should we leave? And the public said yes. So that's the case closed. If you're a Democrat, that's the case closed. Should we leave? Yes, we're leaving. There was no fucking preamble. There was no, we'll leave if it's all right by the EU. There was just, leave. So just leave. Might be hard. Maybe it will be. But maybe it won't. That's what I keep saying. Maybe it won't. Where's the confidence gone? I've got confidence that we can do it. Production, hard work, stiff upper lips. We can do it. We go to fucking work, do some graft, production goes up. We can make it work. Boris refuses to do it. He hasn't got confidence. Which is weird because he always sort of projected confidence, didn't he? But he isn't. He's not a confident man. You can see by his bluster and his blunder, he's sort of like, he cares too much about what the general public think about him. I just think he's got no bottle at all. And because, especially where he is, 60% of the public don't want to do it. He's got no bottle. He's not going to do it. It's going to be some pansy ass, shitty deal. And it'll cost us a lot more money than if we just went. Again, I'm sure we'll get through that as well. It'll just cost us more money. And we might have to work harder. But I refuse to believe that he's going to go ahead with the WTO deal. Fucking refuse. Hopefully I'm wrong. We'll see, yeah. We'll see in a couple of weeks. What else have we got? Anything interesting before I fuck off? Hard Remainers wouldn't accept a soft Brexit. Now we're all paying the price. Oh, God. I do hate Owen Jones. Owen Jones is a wanker day. Yeah, it's coming up soon. And it's going to be a weekend. I've been told by someone in the chat. It's now Owen Jones is a wanker weekend. And probably within a couple of months' time, I think it's going to be so popular worldwide. It's going to be a global phenomenon. It's going to be Owen Jones Cunt Month. Yeah, that's what we're going to have. All over the world. Global Owen Jones Cunt Month. What else? We deserve tier 2. There's Andy in Middlesbrough. He's a good lad, Andy. Thank you for supporting the hospitality industry, did. I follow Mark Miller on there for some reason. I don't know, he seems like a sort of reasonable chap as well. And I follow George Galloway because George Galloway, right, he's only a fucking lunatic 50% of the time. He does understand the general public should be listened to. So I don't actually despise George Galloway. I just think he's wrong. Where are we else? Thatcher, Major, Blair, Cameron and May were ambushed by going to the EU meetings. We lost every time. Boris doesn't stand a chance. Oh, there we go, look. So Farage agrees. Von der Leyen. Physical meeting in Brussels. Why are they always going over there all the time? It makes no fucking sense to me. Oh, there's a good question. Are you having the vaccine? No, I'm not. Not doing that. And again, this is... I think I've talked about it in the past. This is the proof of what I keep saying about how we're living in a fucking crazy world now, because I've never been a fucking anti-vaxxer. I've never been one. Like, whenever anyone would say they're anti-vax, I'd be like, well, TB worked. TB worked. Smallpox worked. Fucking hell, and I've had more jabs than any cunt. I was in the military. I had everything. Before we went anywhere, I got the jabs. I got like 3 anthrax jabs. I got yellow fever, rabies. I've had TB, the fucking lot. So I'm not saying that I'm with these people who think there's like nanobots in a vaccine, because that doesn't make sense, does it? If you really wanted to put nanobots in people, put it in any one of the fucking other vaccines we get. You could put the nanobots in the MMR jab or the tetanus jab or the TB jab. I don't believe in any of that shit, but I'm not getting it because I don't believe. Here's the short version, right? The last 9 months has proven beyond any doubt how grossly incompetent our leadership is nowadays. Like I said, I think it's endemic in all of the world. I think it's like meritocracy's gone. The lefties have demanded it. They control all the fucking pillars of power now. They've demanded we get rid of the meritocracy. We don't live in a meritocracy anymore. Everyone's a crony or a fucking... That's why all the movies are terrible, right? I've told you guys this. That's why all the movies are terrible, the TV shows are terrible, the fucking everything's shit, entertainment is shit. Because now, life's got harder, there's less good jobs, all the fucking mothers and fathers who have kids go, they're all doing, they can have it, yeah, my son can be a screenwriter, and they're all totally clueless. No one's got any talent or charisma. So, the meritocracy has died. America's even got bad. It's pretty bad. It's not a meritocracy anymore. It's who you know, who you're friends with, who your family is. That's why politics is fucked. Look at Neil Kinnock. Neil Kinnock's son, Stephen Kinnock. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Neil Kinnock, intelligent man. Didn't like his politics, disagreed with him frequently, but he was an intelligent man. Son, charmless, wooden, fucking idiot. Knows nothing, but his dad got him in because it's fucking cronyism. It's nepotism. And because of the death of capability, that because of the death of competence, I don't believe for a second, and I don't trust for a second, that they've done the fucking required work on this vaccine. So I'm not anti-vax, and I never have been, but I don't trust them on this fucking job. And the fucking final nail in the coffin is, it's not that dangerous. There is no such thing as a meritocracy anymore. Rotten, how you doing? That's what I've been saying. It doesn't exist. That's why the films have done to shit, music's gone to shit, the movies have gone to shit, the TV shows have gone to shit, and politics have most assuredly gone to shit. It's people like Stephen Kinnock. Daddy did it, so I'm doing it. Everything's fucked. So I don't trust them on this vaccine. I don't think they've done the due diligence. I don't think they've spent enough time on it. They haven't known fucking one way or the other what's going on for the last 12 months. Right? Like I've said before, the COVID hokey-cokey. It does this. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. It can live on metal. No, it can't. Yes, it can. Kids can get it. No, they can't. Yes, they can. Okay, but kids can't. But pets can get it. Oh, no, they can't. Yes, they can. It's fucking bollocks. It's bollocks. So I don't trust them. Totally incompetent on every fucking level. All around the world. Yeah. Same in fucking... You're gorgeous. Thanks, mother. It's ridiculous. So, no, I'm not getting it. Not getting it. And the final, like I said, the final nail in the coffin is I would possibly get it if it was, nepotism, cronyism, everything. I would possibly get it if it was very dangerous, smallpox type shit. But to me, physically fit, go running all the time, I've got strong lungs, I'm not concerned about COVID-19. If I live with an old fucker, maybe I would get it, but I don't. I can do my due diligence. It won't kill me. I'm not worried about it at all. So no, I'm not getting the vaccine. And that's that. Guys, it's after 1. I have to bugger off. Thanks for watching, as usual. Another hour of constant shit. I didn't really have a plan there, and I don't know what... I don't even remember what we talked about. Very apt for these confusing times, Alan. Thanks for watching, guys. And I guess I'll do another one in a couple of days. I need to rest my vocal cords. I was drinking on the weekend, and I think I'm a bit dehydrated, so I'll probably have tomorrow off. But I might see you guys Wednesday. Thanks for checking it out. And right, I'll talk to you guys very soon. Cheers. See you around.